Good morning, everybody. Mark Finan here in the home weather office on this Thursday morning. It's now the 6th day of February 2025, and this is the morning briefing coming to you from the home weather office. And as I look out the window of the home weather office, it's cloudy and it's raining. A nice, gentle, light rain out there. We are going to see rain today. We are going to see Sierra snow with fluctuating snow levels that I'll talk more about in depth in a little bit. And we'll also look into the weekend, and then, we'll look down the road to see when we might see another chance of rain. One other note that I want to get to before we get into the weather, I appreciate everybody's comments about this going on. I got another doctor appointment later on today. Things are getting better. I appreciate all your kind comments. Things are gradually getting better. Let's see how things are going outside. This is the last 3 hours on the radar, and as you can see, we have rain filling in. So back around 6 o'clock this morning, it wasn't raining in most areas just yet. Getting some nice upslope flow here and a nice soaking rain coming in across the Bay Area. This isn't going to be a rain that's going to cause us huge issues in the valley, because we're not going to see the rain come down as hard as what we saw a couple of days ago. But still, it's going to be one of those wet sort of days where we do see periods of rain. There'll be some pauses every now and then, especially in the San Joaquin Valley. And in the Sierra, we are going to be seeing snow change to rain, change back to snow. It's going to be an interesting day, and it's already been an interesting case for meteorologists, and I'll get to some of that detail here in just a little bit. So here's how it looks on the satellite. It's a nice little wave here. So this doesn't have quite as much moisture to it. If I showed you the precipitable water, it would be lower than what we saw a couple of days ago when the precipitable water was up over an inch. And that's why when that line went through a couple of nights ago, we saw heavy rain. But instead today, the precipitable water is closer to a half to 3/4 of an inch of rain, less water for the atmosphere to use. And this is also going to get in and out of here relatively quickly. And then beyond that, we will be dry for the weekend. So let me show you what the models are thinking. A couple of key points that we're going to be looking at here is, one, the timing of the rain and the snow, as well as the wind that we're expecting, especially tonight, as this low goes on by. And then maybe, just maybe, the chance of a thunderstorm tomorrow afternoon. Let's get into that. All right, so here's the HRRR version showing the rain coming in. This is around noontime, so widespread rain, snow in the Sierra, probably around 6,000 to 6,500 feet. That'll go up as we head into the late afternoon and evening. This is 4 o'clock. The snow level then probably above 7,000 feet. And this right here, you can see the way the isobars are. So there is a closed isobar right here at 1002 millibars, so that is a low. And then you can see the other isobars just kind of circling that. And the tighter the isobars are, the more wind you have. So we'll have a southeasterly wind come up that I'll show you in more detail in a little bit. Again, this is around 5 o'clock this evening. So we'll have a breezy and wet evening commute with snow levels pretty high. As the low itself starts to move to the north, it'll bring in some colder air as we head through the night, and the winds will be rather gusty. This is around 9 o'clock tonight, still a gusty night. Now that low has moved up to the north. Now it's a 1,000 millibar low, so it actually deepened a little bit as it moved inland. And then as the last wave goes through, we get back into a changeover from rain to snow in the Sierra, but the valley dries out. Let's go to 7 o'clock on Friday morning. 7 a.m. Friday morning, maybe a few residual showers, but we now have colder air moving in. And with colder air in place, we could see during the afternoon these little guys here. These may be little convective showers, or maybe a weak little thunderstorm. Yeah, we are likely going to see pop-up showers on Friday afternoon as we get the colder air and a little bit of sun. And colder aloft above, let's say, 10,000 feet, up to 20,000 feet. The air gets pretty cold, and down here at the surface, you see enough sunshine, let's say at 2, 3 in the afternoon, little showers pop up, and the convective parameters aren't that great. The CAPE is around 1 to 200, so it's not huge, but we'll keep an eye on that for tomorrow afternoon. Little pop-up showers, then we head into the weekend, and everything will be dry. I'm going to show you the wind gusts here with the NAM nest, and as we head into the late morning, early afternoon, winds start picking up, gusting 35 to 40. So this is down just a notch from what we saw a night or so ago. And this is around 8 o'clock this evening. Same thing, winds gusting up to around 40, stronger on the crest of the Sierra as usual. But on the valley floor and on the east side of the valley, the winds will stay gusty. But again, the other night we saw winds gusting 45, 50. Now we're expecting more, 38 to 43, something like that. So down a notch. But it's still going to be a windy night. But if you didn't have any tree problems or anything like that the other night, you likely won't have them again tonight. It's just that during the commute, let me back up to the commute time. So this is around 5 o'clock. It's just going to be one of those breezy, wet sort of commute times this evening. Let's see, what do I have here? Oh, I have the NAM. No, I'm sorry, I have the GFS. I want to see if the GFS is out farther at the time. Yep, it is. All right, so let's show you what's going to happen here with the GFS. So here's the rain we have today. Here's the pop-up showers tomorrow that you're not going to get very good definition from with the GFS. A little bit of a north flow as we head into Saturday, but Saturday is a dry day. Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, clear throughout the area. Beautiful day to be in the Sierra. Monday is dry. Tuesday's dry. A little wave goes by to the north Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. I don't think it's going to do much for us, but it's this system on Thursday night, Friday that is looking more promising. So that's still a week away, but this looks like our next best chance of rain. And also some of the models are coming into agreement that Southern California may also get a better piece of that. But all of that is next week. Actually, the runs last night brought a lot more of this to Southern California. So a lot we don't know next about the one for next week. This is on the 13th, 14th. So we're getting close to Valentine's Day next week. So that's our next rain. But in the meantime, the weekend and early next week is dry. All right, I'm going to go back to HRRR here and talk a little bit more about this changeover from snow to rain to snow, because that is the biggest forecast dilemma today. So how do we resolve that? Because, if you just look at the graphics, it's kind of tough to tell where is it raining and where is it snowing, and how low is the snow going to get as the colder air moves in. So instead of just relying on the graphics, we can look at the raw data that comes off the models. I'm going to show you a couple of versions of that, and I'm going to warn you, this is kind of a deep dive, and there's going to be a lot of numbers here, but I'll try to guide you through it. This is what we call extracted data. Now, what I'm looking at here is the data for Auburn. Let me move it down just a little bit. And we look at the time going across, and this is in 6-hour increments, so this goes out to 84 hours. And there are all sorts of parameters here on the left, including temperature, wind direction. But what I'm going to look at is this line here, which is the freezing height. So in other words, this is where you reach 0 degrees. Now, when this was initialized at 4 a.m., it said the freezing height above Auburn was at 7,400 feet, dropping down to 6,100 feet, going back up to 76 at 10 o'clock tonight at 10 o'clock tonight at 72, and then by 4 a.m. tomorrow dropping down to 43. So it's this time frame right here that we get that change with the freezing level dropping from 7,200 feet to 4,300 feet in a 6-hour period. We can also look at that another way, looking at the temperatures at 5,000 feet when they go from 4.9 degrees C down to almost -1. So it's somewhere in that time frame that we see the changeover from rain to snow, and we may see snow as low as 4,000 feet with that. All right, so you have the time frame figured out down to a 6-hour window. But the other key here is, all right, at 10 o'clock at night, the previous 6 hours have given Auburn 0.67 inches of rain. In the next 6-hour increment, a half an inch of rain, and then after that, the next 6 hours, just 0.05 as the rain ends. So somewhere in this time frame, and I'm going to show you the Blue Canyon numbers, so we're going up to 5,000 feet, and it's the same time frame. We have the same thing here, the freezing level at 71 going down to 53. It says 53, but that's basically down to the surface there at 5,000 feet, or at Blue Canyon, 5,280 feet. So somewhere between here and here, this is all rain, because the freezing level's up around 7,000 feet. So you have 0.97 inches of water falling at Blue Canyon. But then somewhere in here, some of that 0.78 over the next 6 hours is actually snow. So the question is, if you did a 10 to 1, is that going to be 8 inches of snow? Or let's say you split the difference, is that going to be 4 inches of snow? That's the forecaster's dilemma. We can break this down a little bit more down into 3-hour increments. This is also coming off of the NAM. And this is also for Blue Canyon. So that now we have the time going vertically. I know, different formats. But so now this shows the 1 a.m. At 1 a.m. at Blue Canyon, the temperature is 38. The temperature at 5,000 feet is still positive at plus 3.6. And so we've had a half an inch of rain in that time frame. And then in the next time frame, at 4 a.m., we're getting the switch over. So somewhere between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m., we have seen the change at 5,000 feet go from rain to snow. And as you can see, once we get that change and the colder air comes in, the precip amounts drop down. So we go from getting a half an inch of rain in a course of 3 hours down to just less than a tenth of an inch of rain. And that's what always happens with these things. So what I can gather from this is that because we have the change over here, I would be comfortable, given this data, that Blue Canyon at 5,000 feet would see maybe 4 inches of snow, but at elevations above 7,000 feet, they'll be getting all snow, which means that all of this precipitation, more than a foot, would be snow. So the ski resorts and areas above 7,500 feet, 8,000 feet, we're going to get all snow. But for those of you down around 4,000 feet, let's say Pollock Pines, let's say Upper Pioneer, let's say Arnold, you may get some snow on the tail edge of this, but it's going to be very light. It's only going to be a couple of inches. So this is one of those fun forecasting things that we dive into. And so it's much easier to dive into the numbers this way than it is to try to sort out from the model, just looking at this, when you're going to get that changeover from the rain to snow. And actually, this comes out showing pink, showing mixed precipitation. Not sure why the NAM is showing that. Let's see if the NAM nest, let me show what the NAM nest looks like that way. I didn't look at this, so I have no idea what this is going to look like. This shows snow a little bit better. Let's see how that changes during the night. Yeah, this shows a little bit better, showing that changeover during the night from rain here, and you can see this little line dropping down here. You get the switch over. But again, from this, it's tough to tell where that snow level is, and this is around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So for those of you in some of those 4,000 foot towns that I mentioned, you might be getting some snow early tomorrow morning, but it would only be maybe an inch or something like that at Pollock Pines. 5,000 feet, you may get 4 inches of snow, but up on the summit, on Donner Summit and Echo Summit, we'll see mostly snow, but I think for quite a while tonight, it's going to be heavy wet snow, and then it will turn into much lighter snow, fluffier snow, if you will, as that colder air moves in, and then everything wraps up to snow showers during the day on Friday. Either way, Sierra travel is going to be tough, especially tonight and early on Friday morning. Should be a little bit better on Friday afternoon, but as I mentioned yesterday, you'll also have a lot of friends, Friday afternoon traffic in the Sierra, as well as some, previous weather. It's probably not going to be a great time to travel, but then the weekend will be just fine. And for those of you that work outdoors, I think tomorrow is going to be mostly dry day for the valley anyway, but there may be a pop-up shower, and then we'll keep our eye on those convective parameters to see if the models come around to any better idea for the chance of a thunderstorm. It just may be a pop-up shower as opposed to a thunderstorm. We'll see how that all works out. But in the meantime, today, a nice rainy day throughout the area, but it will get somewhat windy later on tonight. That's everything I've got for you this morning. Make it a great day. I'll talk with you later.